Dennis, welcome back to Win the Content Game. I am so stoked that you're here because we're going to get into it. You're literally going to be implementing with us all the things that you spoke about in the last episode. We're going to get our hands dirty. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
Awesome, Bonner. Okay, so let's kick off. We had some homework from Dennis to choose 2 posts that did reasonably well. And so if you remember from last episode, the benchmark was 10% of reach that had engagement. Off the back of that, we have some questions. So we found 2 posts. So one was with the amazing Katie Brinkley and the other was with JP Hi-Tech. So why don't we do, I think, Katie's first, Bonner, because this one led to an actual podcast episode. And so I would love for Dennis to have give his insights on
each of the pieces
how
of
we kind of
creating on YouTube,
plug that ecosystem together, and then use the dollar day strategy to really
how relevant.
For example,
we have we create content on content marketing and the importance of creating content that's going.
And while Bonna's setting this up, just to give context, the whole point of Dollar a Day, the strategy, is to amplify things that have already been working well. So if you have co-created content, especially with someone else who's well-known, if the engagement is high on that expertise or podcast or speaking with that other person, then it's like you are using their email list. It is getting you more of the thing that's working really well. So as long as that expertise or knowledge sharing or stories or experiences tie in to the eventual product or service that you sell, this is like a hidden sales funnel. It's like secret retargeting, right? Because you're leveraging trust of all these other people that you've co-created content with and not relying upon your own organic audience or their own organic audience. And it also honors what Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and all these guys want, which is advertising money. But we're going to boost it the right way, and we'll do that right now. And we're starting with something that has already organically demonstrated that it's working. So if it works well organically, it could probably work well on the paid standpoint. If it didn't work well organically, how likely is boosting going to solve that?
Not very likely.
So then that's the whole point of the dollar. So let's do this. Let's see what we
do this. All right, cool.
Let me just.
If you're listening to this, by the way, we would highly encourage you to come onto YouTube and actually watch it because we're sharing our screen and we're going to literally be pushing the buttons.
Okay, so this is a post on Deidre's own. This is Facebook, but it could be any channel. And let's just look at it quickly. The struggle to find the screenshot where Katie, so you're tagging her, and I both have our eyes open, wrapped up an awesome training, get more clients from your content cap show. Okay. And you sort of give a little bit of a teaser because you say, learn about the 4 points. And you can see some highlight moments where it looks like you guys are having fun. But it doesn't have, let's go back to the top. Is there more on that, or is that just the end of the post? That's the end of the post. Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't heard of her 4-post strategy. You're missing out. Let me know if you want a link to the training. So you probably put a link in the comments. Is that right? Because you didn't want to put it in the post itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyone who was commenting on it, we sent the link.
Okay. So you basically comment. That's called a comment guard, right? To drive engagement. Comment such and such if you want the thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's, on the bottom left of that, see insights. So I can already see the 25 likes and 17. Okay. So this is actually pretty normal to see. You reached only 255 people, which is fine. You don't have to reach thousands of people because this is not some mega influencer thing. Plus, we're trying to be niche about what we're doing to be super relevant. Smaller audiences are higher relevancy. And we're looking for 10% on the 255 reach. What do you think the difference is between the 255 and the 291?
Yeah, this was an interesting one because I feel like when we looked at some other examples, they were the same number. But this one's not. So yeah, what is it?
What does that tell us? Because if you got to learn how to read the numbers. If you don't know what the numbers mean, you won't know what, it's like if you want to be a doctor and you don't know how to use a stethoscope, that's probably not good, right?
Mm.
So in questions are how many times, I think they're saying the post is actually shown and the reach is the people. So
exactly. Yes. So 250-ish people saw it once, or whatever, 230 some, whatever the number is, and then there was an additional 40 impressions. So 40 of these 255 people saw it, I'm doing rough math, saw it 2 times or more. So what would cause them to see it 2 times or more? Why would that happen?
Does it resurface from engagement? Because
yes. So the 73 engagement. So here's what happens. So when you make a post, Facebook initially chooses 1% of your followers to show it to, kind of like a taste test. And if they like it, a few minutes later, then and gradually more and more people see it. And if the engagement sucks, then you basically die in the newsfeed. This is what all the social networks do, except for LinkedIn and Twitter, which are kind of dumb. But generally, that's how social networks work. And as people comment, engage, like, share, whatever, then their friends see that Deidre commented on this. And so then they see that in their feed, and then maybe they comment, and then this whole idea of a viral loop, right? So the greater the differential between the reach versus impressions, then the stronger the signal of engagement is. Because reach is number of unique people that have seen it, and impressions is number of times you see it. And sometimes you'll see like the reach will be 255 and the impressions will be 1,000, which means there is a lot of sharing and a lot of commenting, and so you'll see that number be high. Now we're looking for 10%, which a lot of people never reach. Their ads, they never reach it either because the original organic engagement wasn't there. But in this case, we're looking for 10% on the 255. Now, when you have a small audience, it's very easy to get the 10%. So we only need 25 on the 255, and you got 73. So you have almost triple that. So good job, right?
Woohoo! Yes.
All right. So now we understand kind of how these 3 numbers are diagnostic in us being able to consider, is this boostable and why is this post doing well? So what I'm not saying is, if the number, because some people will just say, well, Dennis says 10%. So if the number is greater than 10%, I should just boost like a robot mindlessly. No. You need to understand what's going on. So before we boost, we'll boost in a second. Click X on that. And let's look at the quality of the 73 engagements. Now you have likes, shares, and comments. Scroll up a little bit. And we'll see that there are almost as many comments as there are likes, right? 17 versus like 25, right? And we know from spending time with Facebook at their headquarters with their engineers that approximately a comment is worth 6 times more than a like. And a share is worth 17 times as much as a like. Does it make sense though? Because, anyone can just click like on something, but if they comment, isn't that a deeper signal? So we also care about the quality of the engagement. So when I see certain things, like comments are as high or greater than likes, or the biggest signal is if shares are as high as comments, then I know I got something. You don't have any shares on that. So this isn't like, a home run post, but that's okay. We can still boost a post like this just to test. Now let's look at the quality of these 17 comments. Now I know they put it on default on most relevant. I'd like to look at all comments. So this is not just an analytics exercise. You actually have to, you can't just assign this to a VA. You actually have to look at the quality of the engagement. Because if the engagement is just like, oh, good job, or this is good, or worse, you comment guarded this, right? Comment such and such to get a copy of the training. So that may artificially increase the number of comments that you have. OMG, yes, okay. Love this so much. That looks legit. Emojis. Keep going. All right. All these other ones, let's keep going. All right. And a lot of the comments are actually you guys commenting back, which is fine. But then when you comment back, it's triggering your same audience. So it's not really giving you more reach, but it is increasing the engagement score. Okay. So the comments, half of those are yours. So the number of like real comments is maybe like 7 or 8, right? But that's still good. Okay. Now we saw that the number of engagements was 75, but we see 25 comments and 17 posts, which don't add up to 75. So then where's the rest of it to add up to 75 or whatever the number was?
I don't know. Is it like clicks?
Clicks on what?
The image?
Clicks on the image and then clicks on your profile to see who you are. So when friends of other people see this, they think, oh, this is a good post. They might click on Deirdre there, right? So that's where the engagement comes in. Not all engagement is visible engagement. The visible engagements are likes, shares, and comments, right? Okay,
Yes.
good. Now let's go ahead and boost, because we know this looks decent, right? It's not amazing, but it's also above average. So let's click boost
B+.
post. Yeah.
So, Dennis, just really quickly, with the comment guarding, because that's quite a common practice, obviously, on Facebook and social media platforms. So would your recommendation be, if you were looking to boost organic content, to not do that so much, to give yourself the wrong idea, or do you let that happen and just take that into account when you're seeing what you want to boost?
The latter. So don't do things from the standpoint of whether it's boostable or not. So for example, like in healthcare, before and after images are a no-no in ads. But it doesn't mean organically you can't do that. Do whatever is the best thing for the audience. And then of those that perform the best, some of them we're going to run as ads. Not everything we're going to run as an ad. So don't worry about the ad side. Just try to get stuff where you're just delivering so much value, people love you. And we'll just find the best ones.
Got it.
Okay.
And any sort of advice, because I will say I'm guilty of not thinking about the shareability side of content. Definitely, I think engagement is top of mind and things like that. So any thoughts that you have on what you've seen work really well? Again, not to sort of, artificially create content that's not authentic, but what would be the layer of shareability that you would put on when you're creating content organically?
Well, if you can get shares to be as high as likes, then you have home run content. But that almost never happens. Like maybe you'll get that every couple months, or maybe once a year, if depending on how often you take, it's like at bats. How often do you hit it out of the park? And here's how to think about shares. Shares, according to Facebook or other social media networks, are really technically they're defined as another post. So you made a post, and it was a post that someone else loved so much they click share. It actually gets a separate post ID. It's as if that person made another post on their account, but it happened to be your content. Now, a like or a comment is a comment ID or a like ID attached to that post that you made. But a share is a new post in the eyes of the social network. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So because it's a new post, all kinds of things can happen because it's a new post. It can accumulate its own like shares and comments, and it accumulates its own edge rank, which is kind of the power associated to that particular object. And Facebook PR has gotten mad at me for saying the term edge rank, which is kind of like measuring the power of any piece of content, because they don't like people. It's like Google doesn't like people talking about the factors in SEO because they don't want people to try to trick the system or use comment guards or clickbait or 5 things that happened and you won't believe what happened next. Like all these ways to like trick people into clicking on stuff, right? But here's how to think about it. From a strategic standpoint, a share, I'm going to reframe your question into, well, how do I get more shares? Well, a share has to have 2 things that are true. One is it has to have serendipity, and 2, it has to have identity. So let me explain that for a sec, and then we'll go into boosting. One, the serendipity is like you've just come across something so awesome. Like, have you ever been like, I don't know, walking around in a foreign country and something that wasn't part of your plan, something amazing happened. You had this amazing experience. You met these cool people. You ate at this restaurant that was in a hole in the wall that you never even knew. Like this serendipitous, amazing moment just happened, right? Discovery, right? So that serendipitous discovery happened, which excites them. Like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And then number 2 is identity. Identity is, this is me. This is what I stand for. I believe in this too. I'm just like them. So if you have serendipity, something amazing, and, oh, this is me, then I want to hit share. So if I go back up and I see this post and I see 2 people talking about something, and clearly you guys are having a good moment, the struggle to find a screenshot where we both have our eyes open. So maybe what would the serendipity be? Well, yeah, it's just like I'm not photogenic, or, when you freeze frame, it's like some weird, position. Like, maybe people can find that serendipitous and maybe they can identify with it. But when you find something that, because we're all goofy, with Zoom calls, like whatever it is, like, I don't want to be on video. But if you can find those moments that really causes that aha, where when something interesting or cool happens and people share it, there's some sort of cachet that comes back to whoever shared it first. Like, oh, I was the one to listen to that band before they became a big deal, right? So this one, hasn't yet, of the 250 some people lives, it doesn't have enough serendipity or identity to cause people to click share. But do you understand kind of the mechanics of what has to happen for someone to want to click share?
Absolutely.
What can you say that's so amazing? People are like, oh my goodness, that's incredible. That is so true. And yes, that's exactly how I feel too.
Yes.
See what I mean?
Yeah. I feel kind of silly now with that question because it just goes back to what makes me share content, which I do regularly. It's just
all of us, we're humans. We all follow the same sort of math.
Well, what do those humans need? And it's like me, whatever I
the same thing you and I need. Yeah,
that's definitely an epiphany, Dennis.
Because why do people share? Because they're trying. It's a way of expressing, like, oh, this person, she said it better than I could. Like, this is how I feel, and she said it so well that's something I would have shared. So they hit share on it.
Yes, love it.
Because they want to be associated with that awesome thing.
Mm.
Okay. That said, no shares, but still worth boosting, right? And if our boost fails, that's totally okay because we only spent $7 to test it.
Mm.
And we might have to boost 10 things or 15 things to find a winner. But once we find a winner, we can let that thing run forever. Spend $1,000 on it, spend $10,000 on it. So it's totally okay to spend $7 to test, even if we're wrong. And we expect that it's not, we expect to fail. Right? Okay, so let's boost.
Great.
So notice there's all this sort of underlying fundamental understanding that has to happen before you can just come in and click boost, right? You can't just, because people said, Dennis, you can create software that detects the 10% and just hits boost and does this other stuff. Yes, but a human has to understand what's working and why, right? And I have created software to do that, but I haven't released it because it still needs a human, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. What is the warning there at the top? Click that X. Non-functional landing pages. Oh, are you
so
sending?
Does that need a link in it?
Does the link not work?
Oh, sorry. I guess because there's no link in the actual body of the text. Will that need?
Doesn't have to. You can boost posts that do or don't have links. The ones that don't have links actually perform better. Why is that? Because most people think you should only boost posts that have links in them.
Is it the link to the group?
Okay. So this is this is good to know. Non-functional landing page. There is a link to a private Facebook group, Dennis. So that's
fine. And then they'll want to join the group. And so that's kind of your lead capture, right? You can send them to a website, collect an email. There's many ways to try to get something out of it, right? So that's okay. Let's keep going.
That's okay too. Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, Facebook's trying to simplify things with Advantage Plus and making things automatic and whatnot. And I kind of don't like that here. So turn that off. And then for the goal, let's change the goal. Instead of automatic, because they're not too smart, go back up where it says automatic on the goal. Click change. Okay. Now, choose engagement. You're almost always going to choose engagement. Why? I mean, you want calls and visits and emails and all that, but why would you choose engagement?
Is that because is that the signal to us that this is a good post?
It is, but also when you choose something like leads or calls or messages, the cost of the traffic instantly goes up by like 10 times or 20 times. Not 10 or 20%, but it just becomes way more expensive. Because Facebook is looking for people that are more likely to buy. And if you don't have enough conversion signal passing back through the conversion API back to Facebook using LeadsBridge or HubSpot or whatever, then Facebook doesn't have that signal. So it's burning really expensive inventory on a post that isn't even designed to drive sales. The nature of that post you have is kind of lighthearted, top of funnel, mid funnel. It's not a sales message. So you would never choose anything that's bottom of funnel. I almost always choose engagement.
Great.
Traffic is cheaper. There's no expectation of selling. But if they join the group, then they get nurtured and eventually they may buy or sign up for CapShow or attend a webinar or something else, right? We're not trying to close them off of a Facebook post. And that's where people goof up. Oh, I tried running your $1 a day thing. I didn't drive any sales. It's like going into a bar saying, yeah, I tried to pick up on the first 10 women I saw and I didn't get, a wife. I went to the bar for a whole hour and I didn't find a wife. Dennis, your method doesn't work. Okay, you get out of here. Okay, engagement, right? Okay, so next. So there's many booby traps here. All right, now you see there it says button. Click. You see those different options. So you might think, well, shoot, Facebook's giving me an option. I can put a button in there. You know, WhatsApp messaging or call now. So, I mean, button or no button. I mean, call now. I mean, why not? I mean, if I can just have, I mean, a button is better than no button, right? Wrong. What happens when you choose one of those other two? It'll show a button, like click call now. And then all of a sudden in the post on the right, it shows now a button for call now, right? In the preview. Well, you got to put in a phone number or whatever, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just don't do that. I'm just showing you that's what would happen, right? If you put in a number. But just like when you choose an objective that's bottom of funnel, it'll show the number and all that, but A, it's incongruent with the post itself. B, you're signaling to Facebook that this is low funnel, so now your cost is 10 to 20 times higher. C, you're trying to get them to leave Facebook. So if you're getting users to leave Facebook, how likely is Facebook going to want to have that?
Very unlikely.
Not at all.
They don't like that because they make money off of ads as people continue to doom scroll for hours. So they're going to penalize you for that. And that's why people say link in the comments, right? Don't put the link in the post itself. I understand that. So in this case, there's no obvious link. We're not promoting like, hey, here's my free guide on how to whatever. Okay, in that case, yeah, come get it now. I expect there to be a link. So no button. And 90% of the time I choose no button. You're not in the next piece, special ad category. You're not in some sort of category with like housing, real estate agents, mortgage, that kind of thing. So that's fine.
No.
Now we have a choice of choosing what audience we want. And this is
really quickly on the congruence between the content itself and what we're asking people to do. If there is a post that we've organically, it is more of a sales message, like we asked them to that last example, download something as a lead magnet, where we've asked them to take action. And it's done well organically, having gone through the steps you outlined before, we wanted to boost that. Would we your recommendation would still be?
No, in that case, if it's obvious based on the nature of the post itself that there's something to click on, then do that.
Okay. But still for engagement or potentially for?
No, you can choose a different goal. Choose the goal that's congruent with the content.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
The best content, 70, 80, 90% of the time, it's going to be just you're sharing knowledge. It's fun. There's a video clip. If your content if every single piece of content of yours is a call to action, you're just a sales bro, right? You can have a sales post, one in every 4 or 5 posts or something like that, but not every single thing should be a sales post, right? I don't need to explain why that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But when you do have something that's worth downloading or joining or signing up for this thing or putting your email, then turn it into a lead, turn it into a link thing, have the button. But most people make the mistake of they're thinking only bottom of funnel when they're on social. And this is not just a Facebook thing. I know we're on Facebook right now, but the same, like we can boost posts on any other platform. They make that mistake. The majority of your content is going to be mid-funnel boosting. And every once in a while, here's a thing you can come get or buy for $99 or whatever. Yes. Then do the link. Then choose the objective as sales.
Great.
Because you build the engagement and trust and all that. And then when they find that after they've seen a few pieces of your content, then they're like, I already know what these guys do. And I've seen who they're with. Like, okay, yeah, now I want to buy, or now I want to sign up for the free trial or whatever it is. Right. I can't believe I have to explain. I've been doing this thing for a long time, but people that like jump into digital ads, they just forget common sense stuff, right? Like build a relationship, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Don't act like that. Don't be one of those people. You don't want to be that guy, You know that guy who's like creeps on everyone? Like, don't be that guy.
We don't know any of those guys.
They're like, you all know it's that guy, right?
Don't be that guy.
Love that.
Okay,
now audience.
You choose the audience. Now, the audiences that you have there looks like a default audience, and it's driven by what's in the top right in the ad account that you have selected. So go in the top right. You may or may not have other ad accounts. Scroll up.
Oh, which one? Sorry, this one?
Scroll up. No, scroll up. Oh, you don't have other ad accounts there. Okay, so if you had multiple ad accounts, In the top right, you'd see this drop down of the different accounts you have access to as part of your business manager. This also tells me you probably haven't tied this with your business manager, which is okay.
Oh,
But with folks like us who have hundreds of accounts, you have to make sure that you're boosting from the right account. So like one time, I think I was like in the Domino's Pizza ad account and I was boosting a post for like Starbucks or whatever it was. Like I was in the wrong one and I accidentally charged money to Domino's Pizza when it really should have been to Starbucks or whatever. And like the head of marketing was like, why are we paying ads for this one? Oh shoot, I was in the wrong thing when I was, my bad. It was late at night. I wasn't, paying attention. So go down, and the way you can tell is go down a little further, audiences. So the audiences that are listed are the ones that are tied to this account. So this is to her personal account. So my guess is you don't have any audiences here.
No, we don't.
Okay. So what I would have told you 6 years ago was you want to create all these different sorts of audiences. So like, who are the audiences? Well, the audience of Kate, or people that buy SaaS software or are interested in social media automation. They also use like Hootsuite and other tools, or WooCommerce or ClickFunnels, or like all the other people that are in the space of like automating creatives and social and agency stuff, right? I would have told you to do that, and we create a whole list as part of that audience. But now Facebook has become so intelligent, largely because they've been pushed by TikTok and because of privacy issues, that they've taken away all of these things that were called detail targeting. Remember?
Yes.
And they've told us for years that detail targeting has gone away, and there are still some things that are in there. Like click on the little edit thing for the audience details. So you can see it's broad, 18 to 65, US. Now you want to target US, even though you guys are in the UK, or, Australia, right? Because you have more of a US audience, or no?
Yeah, and we're actually based in the US now.
You are? Okay. And you don't even have to choose the right demographic. You might even say, yeah, but most of our audience base is like early 20s to late 30s or something, right? So why do I want the people that are 65 plus or 18? Don't worry about that, because the nature of the engagement, Facebook's already learned who is engaging. So your audience is self-selecting by the quality of the engagement. And that's why we cared so much about looking at the engagement before we came in here. So in this case, we don't even need to touch this. We just leave the audience as it is automatically. So click X on that. If you really wanted to, and there is another thing, like people that use Canva, let's just say, are more likely to use Capsho. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's like people who use this also use Capsho, right? We could target them too. But it's not necessary at this stage, because what we're trying to do is take the handcuffs off Facebook or Twitter, or whatever the tool is we're doing this in, to try to just give it the most freedom to find other people that are similar to the people who have engaged. That's what we're trying to do in this stage. Later, we can do all this other kind of fine tuning, okay? And we're letting it run for 7 days. Scroll down, and we're going to let it run for $1 a day. But look at what they're trying to do.
Oh.
They're always trying to get you to spend more money. So I like to spend $7 in 7 days. So it's $1 a day, right? That's the whole thing, $1 a day.
Oh.
$1.51 per day. Oh, because you're Australian. It's different dollars, or no? No, is that a US dollar? Yeah, it's an Australian dollar. Okay. I don't know how many Australian dollars are in the US dollar. So fine, put in
$10 maybe?
Put in like $11 or whatever. Yeah, sure.
I don't know, 2 Asian people doing maths on me. I will do it.
Okay, so whatever, plus tax, the government always wins, right? Okay, and then you have placements. So this can go either way. I generally just leave it as it is. Some people will complain because Advantage Plus includes Messenger and other weird things that aren't quite as good. But if we're driving engagement, then it's totally okay. I'm not worried about that part. Okay, and then have you set up your pixel?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so go through Digital Plumbing at another stage and set up that tracking. Why? Because from other things that we're doing, not this post, but I'm assuming the longer term play is they sign up for a webinar, join the group, they do something, we get their email, they free trial Capsho, they became a monthly subscriber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that signal, those little points along the way in that customer journey, we want to be passing that back to Facebook. Why? Because even though they're not going to sign up for a membership plan on Capsho from here, if we tell Facebook that's our longer term goal, they're going to take that into account. But if we never pass the data through and we don't set up our tracking, how do you blame Facebook on something that you don't even show them what a successful conversion looks like? And then they blame Facebook. I've had hundreds of conversations like this. It's absolutely mind blowing. Okay. So that's good. And you've got a payment method set up, and we can now hit publish.
And this will just do it from today?
Yep. Now you boosted the post.
Oh.
Now, we'd spent 95% of the time explaining kind of what happens behind the scenes when you boost a post and kind of the strategy behind it. But now that you understand, how long does it take to actually boost a post? About 30 seconds. But you have to understand kind of like how the thing works before you can't just go willy-nilly boosting posts all over the place, right? You have to understand how why you do certain things in a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.